good morning for our colleagues from the Caribbean, and for the others, good afternoon, like ourselves here in Europe. And I know there are people from South America, Africa, Asia, so wherever you are, welcome. And thank you very much for joining our session today. It's a session, you know that many of you are regulars, so thank you as well. It's our IICA and COLEAD sessions, Caribbean Agrifood Business Series, and today is number 13, and the topic is opportunities in local and regional markets for Caribbean entrepreneurs. So very happy to have you for the next 2 hours. So before all, I remind you that the session is recorded. It will be shared afterwards together with the presentations. You have interpretation at the bottom of the screen. You have a little globe. So we have English, French, and Spanish and Portuguese. We have 4 languages. And please use as well the chat to pose questions to the speakers, as well as to make any contribution you wish to. And my colleagues will also share some of the resources we have and some of the information on the speakers as well. So thank you very much. We will have today, as usual, the format of these sessions are first a focus of entrepreneurs, which is really a key part on this activity. We will have today 4 Caribbean entrepreneurs who will share their business model, their products, markets, specifically looking at local and regional markets. And then we will have a second session with organizations like COLEAD and like IICA, who also support entrepreneurs and with whom we have collaborations. And they will just also share what type of services and support they have for Caribbean entrepreneurs who are really looking to expand in local and regional markets in the region. So without major delay, the thing why we chose this topic is, of course, because it's critical for the region, especially in view of some of the priorities at the policy level, decreasing dependency on imports, but also meeting some of the objectives on food and nutrition security. Of course, strengthening value chains in a commercial and efficient way that allows entrepreneurs to grow, while providing employment to people, but as well as youth and women, and renewing the farmers' generation, which is really aging in the region as it is in other parts of the world. But we also want to promote the local food, local Caribbean food, its variety, richness, and which also supports local farmers and all the providers and all the stakeholders in the value chain. So what we want in those sessions is to learn from the first-hand entrepreneurs' experience and giving them their voice, but also to see how to support together with our invitees today, but also with many of you in the audience, to support entrepreneurs to better access those markets and what it means for finance, skills, certification, food safety systems, etc., that they can really embark on sustainable and successful ventures that contribute as well, of course, to the region economic prosperity. And we want to understand, while they have succeeded, what challenges they still have and how they navigate the bureaucratic, in some cases, procedures, how they handle, transports and logistics, inputs, which have, of course, increased a lot in cost now, how they access market intelligence, business networks, skills developments, and so on. So without major delay, I will give the floor as well to, of course, to my colleague from IICA, but from our side, COLEAD, we were known before as COLEAD, so I'm sure that you know our new name from earlier this year. I would like to just give the floor quickly to Jeremy. Jeremy Knops is our DG. We are an association, a non-for-profit association of private sector operators working in all continents and providing support to entrepreneurs, but he's better placed than me to give you a few words on what COLEAD does and why also those sessions and those topics are important for us. Jeremy?
Thank you very much, Isolina, and good morning to all of you. I would like to start by thanking basically all of you to be here with us today, participants, of course, but also panelists. panelists, entrepreneurs who are dedicating part of their time to share some inspiring stories, but also our partners from fellow support organizations supporting the ecosystem and these entrepreneurs. And of course, thanking IICA for our ongoing and fruitful partnership, which has led us already to having organized 12 sessions, and this is the 13th here today. So thank you. Very briefly, as Isolina introduced, COLEAD, so Committee Linking Entrepreneurship, Agriculture and Development. Our name was changed beginning of 2023 to define ourselves for what we were doing and what we were representing instead of where we were operating. So we're a private sector, not-for-profit association. Our members are mostly private sector operators, ranging from producers, processors, traders, exporters, importers of agri-food products, located throughout Africa, Caribbean, Pacific countries, and the EU. And all our members are within the association because they all believe that together we can, with donors and with all partners sharing this vision, that we're able to make sure that the agricultural sector is brought into a better position to further contribute to achieving SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. So that's the big picture. And how do we do that? Well, we do it by designing and implementing projects, programs of different scale with different donors and partners. And all these projects and programs have in common that they usually have a very kind of strong market access facilitation dimension. And one of these programs, it's the program under which, among other, the parts of these series are supported, the Fit for Market Plus program, was set up during the COVID-19 pandemic. And the overarching objective of this program is to support the agri-food sector throughout Africa, Caribbean, Pacific countries to better contribute to poverty reduction, food security and nutrition, and the protection of the environment. But by doing what, basically? Well, first of all, by making sure that on existing markets, private sector operators are placed in a better position to comply with regulatory and private requirements, are basically more competitive to keep their market shares on existing markets, being domestic, regional, or international. But then in the aftermath of COVID-19, we have also a second dimension, which is about seizing new market opportunities. And we've seen kind of very volatile environment during the past 5 years for a number of reasons, which brings us in a position today where we probably more convinced than ever that one of the ways to go forward in a more resilient way is to diversify these options, these markets within the business development strategies of companies. And if we have a look, I see specifically since the start of this Fit for Market Plus program, about what is the proportion basically of producer groups and MSMEs who've sent an application for support to us. So it's around progressively reaching 600 companies. I have close to 80% of these companies who are primarily active on domestic and regional markets. So this is valid, of course, for the Caribbean region, but also for other regions where the program is active. So clearly, and this has been really increasing throughout the years, during the past 10 years, and is really accelerating. Now, the way, to be a bit more practical, the way we try to accompany, of course, the ecosystem and entrepreneurs more specifically is first of all, from a more global perspective, to make sure that we understand what's going on, understand and monitor basically trends, market access conditions, being here in this case on domestic and regional markets. We understand the challenges and opportunities linked to these markets within the Caribbean context. Part of course, the session of today directly contributes to that ongoing exercise, which is fundamental. Number two, based on this analysis in terms of challenges and opportunities is to pool resources to try to bring structural solutions to some of these challenges, being at a policy level, being through the conduction of trials for new technologies, being on the access to finance side, being on the challenges, or trying to bring some structural options to be able to better seize opportunities. And number three, it's through individual support, mainly on technical assistance and vocational training, to basically equip entrepreneurs and the ecosystem of agri-food value chains to be in the best possible position to overcome these challenges or to seize these opportunities. So that's in a nutshell who we are, what we do, and basically the little perspective on how domestic regional markets from COLEAD's angle have been increasingly under the radar, and of course our commitment to support operators throughout the Caribbean in this context with partners. So I wish all of you a fruitful session. I'm looking forward to listening to the exchanges and discussions. Thank you, Isolina. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Jeremy. And Alistair Glynn is the representative of IICA in Barbados. And of course, he's my counterpart on this activity that we have with IICA. I don't know, Alistair, if you want to say a few words now or in the second session you moderate. I leave it to you.
I think in the interest of time, I can save it for the second session.
Okay, perfect. So Alistair will moderate the second session and will tell you a bit more as well on the support that IICA provides. And colleagues will also put in the chat, how to access some of the resources and some of the important material you can access together, of course, with the partners we have today. So without major delay, we change a bit the order in the program, but we get first Pure Chocolate Jamaica. So Wouter Tjeertes, I hope I pronounce correctly.
Yes, you did.
Yes, after many years in Holland. And, I'm sitting in Brussels, so I'm very interested in chocolate. Right. We have some practice here. So Wouter is the co-founder of Pure Chocolate in Jamaica. He will tell us a bit more. It's a completely 100% Jamaican handmade chocolate. He will tell us how he has managed that and what really drives his passion. Please, Wouter.
All right. Good morning, everybody, and thank you so much for having me today here at this meeting. Really excited to be here and share my story. So yeah, Pure Chocolate is indeed, we're based in Jamaica. We have started our company really with the focus on making sure that Jamaica and Jamaica's economy benefits the most of what we do. My background is as a pastry chef, as you can see here. I've been a pastry chef all my life. Ended up in the Caribbean in 2008, and during my ventures here in the hotels as executive pastry chef, we've learned, me and my wife is also a pastry chef, we've learned that Jamaican cocoa is one of the best in the world, but and actually has a fine flavor predicate on it, but we weren't doing really much with it, so we decided to start our own company in 2017. We started very small, just like so many other companies. We started from our house, from the kitchen table, one bag of beans and a small little machine. And whilst I was working full-time, my wife set up the company from an extra room. And that has now grown into a company that employs, I believe, 10 people right now across different parts of the company. Where we really are a little different than others is that where we do pre-processing of cocoa beans as well. I think if you look at production in the Caribbean, consistency is always a challenge locally and regionally. Consistent supply and consistent quality. So we've quickly decided to ferment and dry the cocoa beans ourselves, which is the pre-processing. Which also brought another opportunity of reintroducing this knowledge to the community. So I'm really, really happy that we made that choice. with doing that, we've been able to create clusters of farmers that we now help out. We've actually won some awards on our processes. So really goes to show that if you share knowledge and make sure that everybody benefits, it's not only that you make amazing chocolate, but everybody wins. We focus, as I said earlier, really on the local economy and making sure that everything we do remains on the island, because in the past, cocoa beans would be shipped off to the big boys, the big chocolate makers in the world, and the country wouldn't really benefit. So we set up our brand, and if you look at the branding, if we can go back 2 slides and you can see the picture, please. I think it's one more slide. One more slide back. Yeah, there you go. That's our packaging. We quickly realized that, even though the artisan craft market is a very small market, but there's a lot of competition. So in any market, in any product that you develop, you need to stand out on a shelf, because people first need to pick your product up before they buy it, right? So what we've done is we've partnered with local artists and gave them our packaging basically as their canvas. And in return, to help them, we put their bio inside the packaging. So if our customers like their artwork and read about their bio, we hope that they'll go online and support the artist. We take it one step further, because we actually calculated a commission inside per bar for the artists. So you can imagine, if you're an upcoming artist and you get this opportunity, you are gonna then in return give us the best artwork you can get, which then puts me in a position of, being picked off the shelf faster. So it's a win-win situation. And with everything we do, we really try to create these win-win situations. Our company approach is really more of a holistic approach. We put people up on the forefront, and believe that if you treat the people right and treat everybody you work with fairly, then you'll have a healthy bottom line, and it's working. Support locally and regionally, we've had tremendous support from the ITC with their Alliances for Action program. They have supported it. I would really invite anybody who needs that kind of support to reach out to them. They've been instrumental in the growth of our company. When we first set up our company, our focus was the local market, the hospitality market. Now, of course, COVID hit, and that was a big challenge for us. And during COVID, we came in contact with the ITC, and they opened our eyes to the international market, the regional market and the international market, and really helped us get there. Locally, there's a lot to do with chocolate. I think for any company that does any agro business, first focus locally and set your footprint there. Make sure you have a solid base, and then venture out into the regional and even international markets. That's the best advice I can give you there. Some challenges that we face, of course, regionally, as we all know, is just distribution. It's quite funny, because it sometimes is easier to send a pallet of chocolate to Europe than it is for say Trinidad or to another island. So those are some of the challenges that we're still facing, even though there's a great amount of interest for the product. It's just really chocolate is a challenging product. It tends to melt in the heat. So that being said, those are challenges we're still trying to overcome. I have seen that my details are shared in the chat. So if you want to reach out to us and learn more about our company and how we go about things, you can always reach out to us. You can reach out to us via Instagram or via the website. I want to come back to the farmers for one quick second in my talk, because the farmers are key to what we're doing, right? Without good cocoa, you can't make good chocolate, and without good produce, you can't sell it. And we've done it really drastically different, because we've looked at the international standards and the international prices and figured quickly that, as some of you might know, here we have Mr. Bodie, if you go one back, right? We directly trade with the farmers. We make sure that we pay them a premium for their cocoa beans. we've asked, and who you see here is Mr. BOTO. He's one of our first farmers that we actually worked with, who was about to chop his cocoa trees because he wasn't getting paid enough for a living wage. So when we met him in 2017, we asked him, well, what would be a living wage? And we decided on a price that was actually almost double as what he was getting in the past. And people locally were calling me crazy. Why would you pay a farmer double if the local price is half, basically half of that? But we, if you do calculations, and anybody in manufacturer would probably agree with me that your cost doesn't really go into your raw material. It goes into your overhead, goes into your packaging, goes into your staffing and all the other things. So paying the farmer double wasn't making that much of a difference in my end cost, but makes a huge difference in his life. Well, what do you get in return? You get a farmer who is enthusiastic to work with you. You'll have loyalty. But you'll also get better product, because now all of a sudden your farmer can take better care of his farm and will in return give you better products. We've won 13 international awards last year alone on our chocolate, and I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't have amazing cocoa beans. So it really starts at the base. Just start treating your people right and fair, and everything will flow from that. So that's really what we're believing in. If we can go to the next slide. Yeah, that's one of our products. Striking packaging, doing the right thing, making sure that everybody benefits fairly is really at the core of what we do. Can you go to the next slide, please? See what we have there. Right. As I mentioned before, fine flavored chocolate is what you can do and look into your and advice that I would give everybody. Look at what your unique selling points are in the country where you are. For us, it was the fine flavor accreditation on our cocoa, which was underutilized, and we really tried to put a highlight on that, which is working everywhere we go internationally. Now we're lucky, we're in Jamaica. So Jamaica is a strong international name. Everybody knows about the country Jamaica. And if you then combine that with, fine flavor, high-end chocolate, that kind of works. But you need to look at what your unique selling points are and really, I would almost say, hammer down on it. That's really, in short, who we are, what we do, and why we do it. We're trying to make sure that we build the economy. We try to make sure that everybody we work with benefits fairly. And if anybody has questions, then please shoot them in the chat. Then I can answer them for a little bit. I think that's about it, Isolina.
Thank you very much, Wouter. It's very impressive. I like very much of course, the packaging, and also giving opportunities to local artists, and also the commitment, of course, to the social welfare of the workers, and starting by the producers, who are always the weakest link in the chain. And that's one of the things in this series we are very keen on, is really building that local capacity. I know you have an important commitment coming now, and I thank you very much again for making the time to share that incredible story, and showing us that it's possible to go beyond, the primary product and really make it a very nice. You have one, which is, how do you manage the current explosion of cocoa prices, and does it affect you, very much in sourcing locally, or I don't know if you source everything locally, or you have some mixed blends, because I see in the chat as well that many have mentioned that they also export cocoa, and right, you could reach out, etc.
Right. So what we've done to mitigate that, well, I have to say that it was a stroke of luck, actually, and just fortunate timing. Last year we started another project. So as I said, we've always said we're going to ferment and dry the cocoa beans ourselves because of quality reasons. But that means that your farm gate price is more beneficial as well, of course. So even if you pay the farmer double for his wet beans, as we call it, and then make the personal investment of setting up your fermentary yourself, you can mitigate some of these cost variances. And what happened for us is that last year we set up a a good size fermentary, again, with the help of the ITC, really thankful for that. And we were able to get a cluster of farmers together who were actually not doing much with their crop because they weren't getting paid enough. So they were actually, diversifying into other products. So now all of a sudden they were able to offload that crop that was there anyways. We were able to process it to our highest standards, and we were able to keep our costs at the same price. So I would strongly recommend any chocolate maker out there to look into fermenting and drying yourself and creating these clusters and these partnerships with the farmers so that everybody benefits. Yeah, no, absolutely. Because the cocoa prices has gone up so high, I think that's a really good strategy to try to adapt.
Thank you very much. And there is another quick question: is how did you learn all these skills of making chocolate? Because being a very good expert on pastry doesn't mean you can do everything as well as you have done it, you and your wife, of course.
Right. So on assignment in St. Lucia, I was working for a hotel there. They had this whole farm to table concept, and they had 1,000 cocoa trees, and they didn't know really what to do with it. So they hired me as their director of pastry back then, and said, well, you're a pastry chef, go figure it out. So I kind of got a little lucky. I got 3 years, I want to say 3.5 years of just trial and error and trying to figure it out. But nowadays, there is actually people who are looking into making chocolate. There is so much information online available. A really good channel on YouTube, for example, is called Craft Chocolate TV from one of the chocolate makers in Hawaii. Follow it. He tells you from the get-go, from day one to where he is now to a huge factory, how he's done it. So there's a lot of information out there. I got lucky with an assignment that I had as a job, but all the information is there's nothing secret about it. You can find everything online.
Absolutely. We always tell our entrepreneurs that they have to monitor everything. A lot is already given. And the last one, what certifications do you have for export?
We have all the certifications that we need here locally, and we also are working on HACCP, ISO certifications. It is important. We started exporting to smaller distributors, and truth be told, they don't always ask for all the certifications, but if you grow and you go bigger and you want to go into the multiples and into the bigger ones, they are going to ask you. I would say, also with my experience in the hotels, start with HACCP, which is probably for smaller entrepreneurs a little more cost efficient and easier, even though it's not easy to get. It's an easier one than ISO, but start with your HACCP planning as soon as possible because it will definitely benefit you by the time the big distributors come and they want to work with you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And more follows, and you have a few more, from Colleen and so on in the chat. I let you respond if you can with your appointment. In the interest of time, I just...
Isolina,
yes, I go to the next speaker. Thank you very much. And thank you again. Thank you very much, Wouter. We go to now Alexis in St. Lucia, to a different as well value chain. This time is mushrooms. So you have Alexis, you will share your passion with us on the skills to produce oyster mushrooms, but also, using locally available and low-cost techniques. But also, as many of the other speakers, to your passion as well of training other people and really making an impact to your community. Please, Alexis, in 10 minutes.
Good morning to all.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, my name is Alexis William. I'm the co-founder of Fungi. Out of St. Lucia. I'm also the technical personnel on the Mushroom Collective, which we are responsible for all the mushroom production within the island of St. Lucia. We are also going through the small hurdles of trying to get our heads wrapped around the reduction of the importation of mushrooms, because they kind of take up a big chunk in basically what we do. Or the revenue that comes into the island tends to go that way. So we trying our best to see if we can bring down on that import bill. So here came Fungi, and together with Fungi, the Mushroom Collective. The aim of Fungi is not just to produce the mushroom, but produce it on a sustainable level where we can promote healthy living, healthy product, and to avoid for any interruption with our mushroom production. At present, we try our best to promote inclusivity in terms of gender, ladies, young people alike, because I tend to be the one that are a little bit more vulnerable when it comes to employment. So we try our best to tackle them, so bring them in so we can teach them all what that is needed, so they can go into the field and be able to produce the mushrooms as they would like to. Next slide. Hello? Okay. After I started my business in 2011, noticing that we needed an increase in terms of the volume of fresh mushroom that have been produced on island. I spoke with colleagues from IICA, Brent Theophil, and to formulate a plan to see if we can bring together good-minded thinking people to put together a collective, that will be inclusive and one that will help in the production level of mushrooms in the island. And it gave birth to the mushroom collective by myself, Mr. Eugene Gabriel, Jade Hutchinson, and my second half and best friend partner, my wife, Chanel William. Together, we founded the Mushroom Collective. This now is taking off in terms of generating much needed increase in terms of the volume, because over the years, I have noticed that being the only one producing fresh mushrooms at one point in time, that we needed to have some kind of introduction, because as I keep shifting the goalpost in terms of my production, because over the years, the demand for the mushroom has been growing steadily year after year. I noticed that every time I literally increase my production, the demand for it grew. So I decided, okay, we need a strategy that will be one that can tackle the amount of mushroom that are produced on island. So we decided I had a sit down with the Taiwan Technical Mission, the ICDF, and then we put together a Women in Bloom project where we introduced 25 women to help we curve that. They came on stream, and suffice it to say, the goalpost shift again. So then now we had to reintroduce and reformulate that same idea and put it on, and then the aim of that project now was to actually tackle the young men, the vulnerable young men, and bring them in so that they can help with that. And we have already started, and then it is in the second stage. So it's basically our mindset in terms of food security, trying to lower our import bill in terms of the food that we bring in and we can produce within St. Lucia, because most of the imports and everything else that we use in producing the mushrooms are actually found and sourced locally right within our country. Okay, next slide, please. Okay. We provide a wide range of produce such as oysters, oyster mushrooms, sun-dried mushroom, well, byproduct of our freshly grown mushrooms. We took that initiative because not on our own, because we noticed just producing the fresh oysters or the fresh mushroom is not enough, and then with the increase in the farmer base in St. Lucia, we said we're not trying to be one that will just compete with the other farmers, because we are already set up and we don't want to be able to take up too much of the market. So we decide we will actually be a port or vessel where our new farmers can actually have an avenue to sell, to be able to produce a mushroom and have an avenue to be able to sell a mushroom in adverse to just go into the hotels, the restaurants, and competing among themselves. So we took that initiative that we will absorb some of the mushrooms, we purchase it from them, and then we will use those mushrooms now to create byproducts, which is our crumbed mushrooms, our pickled mushrooms, sun-dried mushrooms, and then the list can go on. It was all spearheaded by my second half, She's the one that formulates and put all those little bits together. So we can put on the market, and one that is marketable and one that is desirable not just by the locals, the restaurants, or the supermarket chain, but also it has already gained popularity in certain other countries with people, visitors coming to our country and having to have samples for different trade shows and different gatherings that they actually purchase and take over. So, and then we have already sparked that interest in other countries. So this is one of our goals going forward, to see if we can expand to a commercial setting where we can actually have our mushrooms shipped out and export. Next slide, please. Okay. We deal with in St. Lucia, the market in terms of selling the mushroom is one that is very warranted and is very welcoming through not just for the locals alike, because of the health benefits, but also for the restaurants, for the culinary delight and how they can best prepare them. So like with Chef Robbie's and Chef Orlando's, which are high-end restaurants that cater for a lot of the incoming traffic in terms of the tourism or tourists that they normally purchase it from a great amount. The hotels like Capmesa, Windjammer also do the same. The supermarket chain, Marcy stores, retailers, we tend to target them in smaller amounts in terms of getting our produce out there, because most of the time we find the customers normally knock on our door directly in advance to go into them, but they do play a critical role in terms of our supply and demand chain, the supermarket. But for the on whole, the larger consumers are our locals, and they are very welcoming in terms of, even if we have to bring out a new strain. So we kind of specific in terms of what we grow. We grow like oyster mushrooms, Polaris oysters, but we tend to go down the trend of special orders. So like if we have a specific customer that desires a special kind of mushroom, we will import, let's say, the spores, and then we will germinate it, and from that we'll be able to produce that mushroom. Then now we're adding some new species to our arsenal, one we can use on ourselves to market and put out there, not just for a specific customer, but for everybody on the large. Next slide, please. Okay. Utilization. Okay, so in our company, we do just supply fresh mushrooms or the byproduct of the fresh mushrooms. We also do a lot of training. Like I said in the beginning, we try our best to include everybody, because it's a product that is not grown locally in St. Lucia up until we introduced it. But it is one that is warranted and needed, because we are a tourism-based country, and majority of the mushrooms that come into the country are either sun-dried, pickled, or canned. Most of the byproduct of the mushrooms can also be one that it can be utilized in income generation. Like I say, when we go through our different processes in terms of producing our mushrooms, we end up with a slurry or excess amount of wastewater. These waters don't get thrown away. We use them actually to help to amend the soil, or we create like composties in terms of organic farming, one that can be used for soil seed germination and help improve the overall texture of the soil. Also the end product, or the spent substitute as we call it in mushroom production, can be used to create a compost, one that can be further broken down into, or if we introduce worms and we create a vermicompost. This is one that can has a versatile use, not just as a raw base, but one that can be used to, like I said, to amend the soil and help improve the soil. So one can be used in terms of organic farming, and then we can also use it as a byproduct or further break it down into a vermicompost. Okay. One of the challenges in terms of growing mushrooms within the Caribbean since we are hot climate, right? Well, we are temperate climate. We suffer just basically the rain and the sun, so it's kind of humid. We tend to grow a lot of our warm weather strains, one that is easily adaptable within our climate, and with that comes the I won't say the problem, but the challenges of getting raw material to grow the mushrooms. Over the years, since I've been growing them, I have been formulating and playing with a few substrates or material that can be used to grow our mushrooms, and now we have up to 27 different formulas, one that can be utilized, or we normally redirect material that normally would go to the waste, the waste dumping like coffee grounds, wood chips, wood piling. We utilize those in terms of the environmental impact that they would cause in other ways of going to the landfill. We redirect them and we turn them into wholesome and nutritious goodness in terms of growing our mushrooms. We currently embarking on a composting project. This is for the future. In terms of expansion, also commercialization of our mushroom. We're also looking to see if we can create as much needed employment or job creation in that aspect where we can actually tackle it from the ground up. We know that after C-section, we normally tend, as kids or as pre-adults, we tend to want to decide where we want to go to after that. And then we give them that option in terms of not just wanting to diverge or let's say directly go into, let's say, accounting or some aspect. I kind of get interesting for the new upcoming farmers so that they can have a way or an interesting way, one that can be desirable, one that can be pleasurable, and one that can be interesting to them, that I would just say it's all about hard laborious work, but one that can utilize the different attributes in terms, let's say you are a science major, or you the agriculture major, or you a building tech major, one that you can utilize those in terms of getting into preferably like creating greenhousing or irrigation techniques or lab work in terms of creating the spawn and different aspects of that sort. So it is one that is warranted, like I said, and one that we can go forward in terms of producing ourselves going forward. Not just producing the fresh mushrooms, like I said, or the byproduct, but one that is has inclusivity in terms for everybody. There is a little bit for everybody, so we're not leaving everybody out. We have an aspect of at each stage in each part of the whole process that one can include, whether you're at a tertiary level, secondary school level, or primary school level. It is all there for you, so we can go forward and build a good future. Next
Alexis, slide. I think we have to, if you have one key point, but in less than 1 minute.
Yes, okay. With our fresh mushrooms, we have our byproduct where we have wraps, fries, chips, snacks, gummies, chocolates. These all can be introduced and redirected and be produced off of our mushrooms, and also cosmetics. Okay, can we go to the next slide, please? Here, okay, at this end, I will say thanks much for having me. And like I said, we here at Fungi, we have our mission statement is basically to keep producing fresh mushrooms, one that is good and wholesome and help with our overall health. We get our aid and our help from IICA, ICDF, Jeff, and the Ministry of Agriculture. So once again, thanks so much for having me.
Thank you very much, Alexis. It's always very, very interesting. It's just the time is the only constraint we have in this one. But we like very much the time you spend analyzing the customers' needs and expectations, and adapting to them, because that's one of the critical factors to develop nice products locally made, but also to try to have byproducts from them, and of course all that training part and that you do with the communities. So we'll get back to you. I see that you have already many questions. So without major delay, Ingrid. Kimberly first. Kimberly Salloum, Managing Director of Half Moon Vegan Ice Cream in Trinidad and Tobago. So from chocolate to ice cream, that's also a nice part. So please tell us how you have developed, this business and how it has worked for you. I know that some of my colleagues have met you in their mission to the region, and they were very, very much impressed. So we are very happy that you can share with a wider audience your success today. Kimberly, please.
Hi. Just going to pull up my slides.
If is this fine? If not, Axel could also share it from our side.
One sec.
Does it? It's okay, Kimberly. If not, if Axel shares it.
Okay, yeah, I just got it.
In the interest of time. Oh, you got it. Great.
Yeah. Okay, there we go.
If you put it in full screen as well. Yeah.
Right.
Because I know that many people follow the sessions with their phone. Thank you, Kimberly. Please.
Okay, great. So, morning, everyone. Thank you again for the opportunity to present today. So I'm Kimberly from Half Moon Vegan Ice Cream. We are a frozen dessert manufacturing company in Trinidad and Tobago. Our mission is to use fresh quality ingredients in the most natural way possible to provide real and authentic flavor experience while showcasing the flavors of the Caribbean. Our current product line, includes about 10 flavors of ice cream. These include coconut, passion fruit, soursop, chocolate, mango when it's in season, and a few others. Half Moon started unofficially in 2020. For me, it really started as a craving. I don't eat dairy and just really wanted some passion fruit ice cream. And at the time, there was no vegan ice cream being produced locally and none on the market with our Caribbean fruit flavors. So I ordered a small ice cream machine and just began experimenting. And I was amazed. I thought, why has no one done this yet? We have really exceptional ingredients to make vegan ice cream. Most of the vegan ice creams on the market are made with coconut milk. And here I am in Trinidad with access to coconuts in abundance. And our fruit, our passion fruit, our mango, our soursop, and our cocoa, which is some of the best in the world. We just had all the ingredients for a really exceptional product. So for the rest of 2020, I was operating out of my home, just making ice cream on a very small scale. You can see in that picture there, I'm really excited because that was the first packaging that we had. It was a brown container with a small Half Moon sticker on it. In late 2021, we became incorporated. I got some equipment. We moved into a proper facility. I hired my first set of staff, and we got a distributor. This allowed me from making about 20 pints per day to being able to make up to 400 pints of ice cream per day. From 2022 to 2023, we worked on really just expanding our local market share. So we're now in about 60 groceries, supermarkets, and gourmet stores in Trinidad and Tobago. And we also supply to some hotels, restaurants, and cafes. So our goal for 2024 and beyond is to, we plan to launch a new product this year. and we are now developing an export plan, which I'll talk a bit more about later. So in terms of our success factors, the first I'll talk about is the vegan ice cream market growth. So the vegan ice cream market has grown significantly over the last 10 years. And according to trends, it'll continue to do so for the next 10 years. This, of course, works in our favor. Consumer trends have also shown that more and more people are looking for ice creams that fit within their dietary requirements or their lifestyle choices. And they want, a high quality product that does not compromise on texture or flavor. Something that's very, very important to us, actually just crucial for our whole business, is our links with our local suppliers. It is a priority for us to use local wherever we can. We have links with about 15 local farmers who supply our coconuts, which is the base for our ice cream, limes, passion fruit, soursop, our cocoa and our chocolate, and our mangoes. So all of our fresh produce currently comes from farmers in Trinidad and Tobago. Our branding and marketing has been very important since day one as well. I really wanted that when Half Moon started to be on the grocery shelves, that it would be able to stand out with any other ice cream that was on the shelf anywhere in the world. And lastly is our distributor network. So getting a distributor was really beneficial to us. Our current distributor is the largest distributor of frozen desserts in the country, and about 95% of our current revenue comes from this wholesale distribution. And it's not on the slides, but of course, a big success factor is just living in a place where amazing things grow. In terms of the future, we have a few projects that we're working on this year. The first is our new product launch. So in about 2 months, we'll be launching popsicles. For this product launch, we really wanted to prioritize our local flavors. So we have about 7 flavors that we've developed to launch, including mango passion, coconut, watermelon, soursop, and then a signature creation that we've made, which is pineapple chow. And for any non-Caribbean folks in the room, chow is a typical snack in Trinidad that's typically made with fruit, salt, lime, and some spices. So we're really excited about that. Our goal for this product is really to just showcase the simplicity and the beauty in our tropical flavors. So minimal ingredients so that the fruits really take the spotlight here. One of our other big goals, of course, for this year is developing our export plan and getting our compliances in order for regional export. So far, we've decided on one regional market to enter, which is Barbados. And we are in the process of determining the other 2 and meeting with potential distributors. So we're hoping that by the end of the year, we'll be in at least 1 market in the region. There's a couple other initiatives that I'm quite proud of. The first is our sustainability initiative. Of course, we're processing a lot of produce, so a significant amount of our waste is food waste. And we've just partnered with a local permaculture farm to take all of our food waste for compost, which they then sell. So it's quite a win-win situation for both of us. And of course, in order to facilitate all of these plans, we are moving to a larger plant later this year. We will get some bigger equipment to increase our capacity, hire a couple additional staff, and plan for meeting not only the regional compliances, but also international ones like HACCP for when we plan to expand out to the region. In terms of challenges, what's, I think, really one of the key factors in our business, which is using local produce, is also a challenge. As we scale up and need increasing amounts of raw materials, finding that volume of local produce becomes more difficult, and it is more expensive here, of course. So keeping our raw material costs down while maintaining a high quality product will be a challenge we have to overcome if we want to maintain a competitive price point for export, especially considering that it is a frozen product, which is more expensive to ship. We're hoping that by partnering with other small local businesses who are currently exporting frozen foods, we'll all be able to keep costs down by splitting the cost of a container. And that's about it. Yeah, it's been a really exciting journey for me. I lived abroad for a few years, and during my time there and during my travels, I really still haven't tasted anything better than our tropical produce. It's something I'm very passionate about, and it's been a real joy to see other people love and experience this product as well.
Thank you so much, Kimberly. And we agree with you. We are looking forward. Axel was telling you this already, to buy those ice cream in Brussels and in other places. COLEAD is everywhere. So we look forward to that. And we like very much not only what you have made with local products, which is very, very innovative, and also addressing some of the needs like vegan, but also, you highlighted that importance of the distributor, which is key, having a very, very good distributor when you have a good product and very innovative, but also plans, to export, and of course, contributing also to climate resilience by using all the food waste into compost. And so it's really very, very, very interesting. And I'm sure you have already many offers. So the last speaker in this panel, Ingrid, please, I will ask you to make it as short as possible. We go now to Barbados. Is on condiments and gourmet products. You are very passionate on the business, and you are also very actively involved in professional and community initiatives, like many of our speakers. So please, could you share with us your business and your success, Ingrid? Ingrid Brathwaite. Jay's Enterprise. We are muted, Ingrid. Yes, perfect. You are muted again, I think. I don't know if Gaetan can do something, but I think it's from Ingrid's side. Is it my side? I cannot hear Ingrid. Gaetan, can you hear? No. Axel, can you hear Ingrid?
I cannot hear Ingrid neither.
No, I see her speaking, but we cannot hear. And we did the test just before the session, and we could hear her perfectly. If there is a problem, I would suggest not to delay, to go to Alistair moderated session, and then we can get back Ingrid. I see you muted, Ingrid, so I don't know if you unmute yourself, sorry, because it was indeed working well. Okay.
I think she has unmuted her mic now. Ingrid,
yes,
can you hear?
I see muted, but even when she unmute, we don't hear her.
Maybe we can move to the second segment and bring her in when she gets it operational.
Yeah, we call you, Ingrid, to see what's happening. So please, Alistair, as I was saying, my colleague from IICA, I'm very pleased to organize these sessions focusing on Caribbean entrepreneurs and partners around supporting the entrepreneurs. Thank you, Alistair.
Thank you very much, Isolina, and a hearty welcome to all the participants here on this session today. And of course, to our presenters, we're really appreciative of your support and your contribution. For IICA, the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation and Agriculture, we are excited to be part of this partnership with COLEAD. It's our belief that one agency can't do it all, and we need collaboration, we need collective action to move forward with respect to agricultural development, not just in the Caribbean, but throughout the hemisphere. And these are exciting times for us in the region. We know, as Isolina would have highlighted earlier, that we are all aimed at supporting enhanced food security and overall development. There's a program in the region. All governments are behind promoting the reduction of the regional food import bill. And we have our 25 by 25 initiative. And what we want to really do is have all agencies on board supporting the development of agriculture and seeking to promote increased production and trade. And as an institute, and we here in Barbados, we are also on board in that regard. So this partnership with COLEAD is critical. For IICA, we believe that these particular interventions are useful and that knowledge is power. Ultimately, through our various hemispheric programs, we support these sort of initiatives. Specifically in this regard, we have our International Trade and Regional Integration Program that supports this particular program with COLEAD. Besides that, we have other programs related to digitalization of agriculture, agricultural health and food safety, bioeconomy and innovation, climate change and sustainability. We focus also on family farming and rural development, and particularly for us, the involvement of gender equity and youth. So we try to involve women and youth in all our interventions. But in the interest of time, I want to move on quickly to say that for producers need to know opportunities. They need to know where there are market opportunities, where they can make money, where they can send their produce, and that's how they're going to engage in investments and moving forward. And in order to invest, in order to move forward, besides having the opportunities, they need the support. They need support from various partners, from various agencies. And I go back to the value of collaboration. And that's why, as we have this session, we don't just want to hear from the various producers. They are very useful and it really points us in the right direction. But we also need the support, the tangible support. So that's why this second component of today's session identifies the various agencies that are supporting what we are looking to do. We are talking about market opportunities. We are talking about opportunities not just in local, but regional, international markets. And the agencies that follow will tell us what they are doing to provide support to entrepreneurs who want to access these market opportunities. So I want to move ahead quickly. Thank you, Isolina, for moderating the first session. Thank my colleagues across the region for joining. And special shout out to my colleague Roxanne Waite, who would have been instrumental in moving forward with this particular initiative. So without further ado, I want to introduce the first speaker, and this is Sandiford Edwards, who's the Program Director for IESC. IESC stands for Improving Economies for Stronger Communities, and it's really a pleasure to introduce Sandiford. I worked with him for a number of years, and he has over 20 years experience in the field of trade and business development, although I feel it's much more than that, and he will tell you more when he comes. And he has served in various senior leadership positions in both the public and private sectors. He led the analytical work for the Caribbean community, the CARICOM secretariats, as well as in the Caribbean private sector organization, in determining opportunities for food import displacement as part of the very same 25 by 2025 plan. He also was the lead writer for the CARICOM COVID-19 Agri-Food Risk Management Plan, and he's now Program Director for the USAID-funded Caribbean Agricultural Productivity Improvement Activity implemented by IESC. And he's very passionate about solving some of the most pressing issues for smallholder farmers and producers, particularly with respect to their integration in regional and global value chain. So he's rightly suited for this activity this morning. He holds a master's degree in development finance from the Frankfurt School of Finance and Management. He also has a master's degree in business administration from Oxford Brookes University. And Sandiford is also a certified chartered accountant. He brings a wealth of experience at this forum. And we're excited to have Sandiford here present on behalf of IESC. and tell us about how CAPA is going to support entrepreneurs to access markets in local and overseas fora. Thank you, Sandiford, and the floor is yours. And please remember, 10 minutes, and we want to manage our time going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Alistair, for that. And it's a pleasure to be on along with COLEAD and IICA on this session. Recognizing that you've made it abundantly clear what the time is, I would jump straight into the presentation because I believe that this is more important than, you know, how long I've been around, because I'm still just between just about 4 decades. IESC, a little bit about who we are. So we are a implementing partner for USAID, working on the CAPA project, the Caribbean Agricultural Productivity Improvement Activity, and IESC is a US-based organization. We've worked over the world in over 139 different countries over the last 60 years and has created over 1.5 million permanent jobs. And the mission really is about catalyzing private sector growth and creating economic opportunities for people and communities in the various countries, developing countries in which we work. And IES's solution, how we work is basically working with local communities, being locally led, market-driven solutions. So in terms of working with exporters and agro-processors and producers and farmers, it's really about developing market-driven solutions to ensure that you can take advantage of market opportunities. And we make no apologies for saying that we want value chains to be profitable and sustainable. So it means that every actor in the value chain needs to make money. What is CAPA? So CAPA is a 3-year funded program as it stands now that seeks to sort of deal with the issue of food insecurity in the region by driving market climate solutions. And we primarily are operating in 8 countries, but with the opportunity to leverage across the entire Caribbean and other developing countries around the world. Within the Caribbean, we work in Dominica, in Barbados, Grenada, Guyana, Suriname, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines, and Trinidad and Tobago. The program is being implemented by IESC and IICA, and we have 3 primary objectives. The first one is to support increased smallholder market-led production of fruits and vegetables. And what this means is that our role is to support small producers in increasing productivity through the introduction of new technologies, the establishment of demonstration farms, through capacity building, pest and diseases management, etc. The second objective is to improve market linkages between buyers and smallholders. And I think that is an area that is of importance for us today. How do we support producers to access new markets? So we've done market research, we've done market analysis, and then the second step is to provide that information to producers and processors as to what are the market opportunities, where are those markets, how do you access those markets, what are the trade requirements, what are the barriers, what is the logistics that needs to be considered. And then additionally, we have prepared and we are preparing what is called market-led production manuals that is going to work with producers and processors to ensure that they produce according to market requirements. And then fourthly, another aspect of strengthening market linkages is bringing the buyers and producers together. So we create those fora where buyers and producers can meet, can exchange information, can do business, can do transactions. So we facilitate business-to-business meetings, and we've done this already in 3 different countries where we've even brought in buyers from the United States, out of Houston, the biggest supermarket chain. The fresh produce budget is over $10 billion, and they're looking for produce from around the region. We are making those sort of connections to support export development. How we've selected our value chains briefly, we look at market opportunities. Are there credible, unmet, and growing market opportunity for the item? Or is it just a romantic experience? Our view is that it's extremely important to make sure that every value chain that we identify and the support that we provide is going directly into a market, that there is already market for it, be it an existing market in the Caribbean or a market that is extra-regional. The impact on food security, is there agribusiness investment potential, meaning that is the private sector interested in investing in that particular item? So I heard of the mushrooms, I heard of the ice cream. There are existing private sector in the space. And so we look for existing businesses or strong business ideas where people are operating in the space, and we provide the technical assistance to help them move from one step to the next. So what are those value chains initially that we have identified within our year one for support? In Guyana, we're saying cherries, turmeric, and coconuts. And here we're speaking of beyond just the normal production, but production, processing, and trade. St. Vincent bananas and plantains, dasheen, sweet potato, fresh vegetables, Suriname banana and plantains, ginger, passion fruit, Dominica cassava, dasheen, sweet potato, and passion fruit. Those are some of the initial value chains that we've looked at. It is not the finale, so it means that there is space and scope for expansion within those 4 countries. The other countries such as Trinidad and Tobago, St. Lucia, Grenada, Barbados, they are going to benefit from the extension platform, which is extension services, strengthening private and public extension services, which is part of Objective 3 and is being led by IICA. So what are some opportunities? So for example, the analysis that we've done shows that the region imports on an annual basis approximately $20 million worth of banana and plantains. The region imports at least $7 million of tomatoes, $3.2 million of just bell peppers, and then $2 million of ginger. So we've identified what those market opportunities are. And this is just for fresh. It does not include canned. It does not include preserve. This is just fresh bananas and plantains, or fresh tomatoes and fresh sweet peppers. So it means that there is an opportunity both on the production end to increase local production and integrate into those high value markets with high quality products, but also on the processing end to ensure that we can preserve and extend the shelf life of these market opportunities. This here is a sample of 14 products that we have identified and analyzed, and it's also a sample of over 19 products that the CARICOM region analyzed, including meats and fish, etc., beverages. So there are a range of opportunities, and we would be happy to supply you with that kind of a data so that you can see where your opportunities are and to see if you can take advantage of it. So what we do, for example, we are in the process of preparing what is called regional market briefs. And this is an example of the tomato market brief. On the left speaks a little bit about CAPA, but on the right tells you about who is importing, what is the quantity that is being imported, and the member state that is importing it. So for example, if we look at tomatoes, we can say that Trinidad and Tobago imports at least 14% of all regional imports, and the Bahamas 64%. So when we put the Bahamas and the Trinidad together, we're speaking of collectively 78% of the regional demand. So if we are thinking of taking advantage of tomatoes as a product, both processed and raw production, then understanding where the markets are would help you in positioning how you enter and take advantage of those markets. It's going to guide you as to how you do your pricing, your packaging, etc. It also includes here what is called the export requirements. So what is required if you're going to export through the region? The phytosanitary certificate, the traceability, information on the use of pesticides if you're going to do that. It speaks of also the quality parameters. What is considered to be an extra class, a class 1 tomato, a class 2? What are the sizes that you need to be aware of? How do you treat with uniformity, and how do you treat with packaging? Those are support that in year one, we are providing to producers so that they are aware of the market opportunities, where these markets are, and how you target these markets. Additionally, as the project moves along, we are going to provide more definitive support to the producers, processors. So we move now from primary production to the actual processing in terms of, again, accessing markets, but also the upgrading of the production facilities and practices, the introduction of food safety systems, looking at research and development, improvement in packaging. Those are things that we will be tackling in year 2 and 3 of the project. Year 1, the emphasis has been around how do we identify those value chains? How do we identify those market opportunities? Package it in a very simple format and form that can be shared across the region to allow producers to do targeted intervention. The final thing I want to speak on is the research that we're doing with preservation. So in the case of cassava, we are about to experiment with a bee starch that can extend the cassava shelf life without refrigeration by up to 18 days. We also want to do this in mangoes, pineapples, dasheen, and sweet potato. And those we believe is going to help improve logistics and market access by preventing post-harvest losses. And thank you, Alistair. I trust that I would have remained within the 10 minutes that was allotted. I think I did better than 10 minutes. I did just around 6.5 to 7. The contact details, in case I need to be reached for further information and for exchanges and dialogue, is sedwards@iesc.org. I remain available for your questions.
Sandiford, I really want to thank you for your time management and for the excellent presentation that was delivered. In particular, something stand out to me, the whole focus on particular value chains. And as you said, there is scope and space for expansion. I hope our participants will take advantage of that. And just to remind persons, these sessions are being recorded and will be shared with you. So please spread the word, share with others. Knowledge is power. We need the information. And of course, I'm a bit biased because IICA is addressing the extension component of the intervention. And we believe that extension is what will drive knowledge and technology sharing for the farming community and, of course, to benefit entrepreneurs. And I'm glad that you're saying, Sandiford, that data can be made available to participants. So please, let's take advantage of this opportunity. And, of course, the development of the different knowledge products that you all have shared, in particular these regional market briefs. And we're going to be excited to have access to that information. So, colleagues, I want to thank Sandiford. I want to encourage participants here to place your questions in the chat. Let's bring the questions. And of course, we'll have a period where we can undertake discussion on the issues presented. So without further ado, thank you again, Sandiford. I want to move to our colleague, William Castro from the International Trade Center. And I'm really excited to introduce William. Again, we are talking about how we can support persons to get into regional markets and to expand their market opportunities. We need this support. And the ITC, of course, will allow William to share a little bit more on what they are doing. But William joined ITC in 2018 to coordinate projects in the region, including alliances for action programs, promoting public and private partnerships for agribusiness and sustainable food systems. Before joining ITC, he worked as the market access division of the World Trade Organization, And prior to that, he worked for 7 years at the consulting firm DASA, and he can tell us a bit more on that. William has a degree in economics from Pontificia Universidad Católica Madre y Maestra in Santo Domingo de DR, with a master's degree in international economic policies at Sciences Po Paris, France. I hope I did a good job there. Without further ado, William, let me ask you to take the floor, and please, if possible, if you can stay within the time constraints. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alistair. You did a great job in French, English, and Spanish. Very good. First, let me thank IICA and COLEAD for hosting this session, and of course, the partners funding this, the European Union and OECPS, for the opportunity for us to all be here. This has been a great session, and I really extend out my greetings to all the participants from the Caribbean, Africa, and everywhere in the world. I've seen in the chat that they are introducing themselves. This has been very, very insightful. So I'm gonna share my presentation now to begin. So just to begin about the International Trade Center, the ITC, just quickly, we are an international agency. We're based here in Geneva. This year we celebrate our 60th anniversary. So hope you can join us in our celebration. Basically, we are a joint agency of the United Nations and the World Trade Organization. And we are, I would say, the UN agency dedicated to work with the private sector. So we do trade-related technical assistance in developing countries. And then we focus on with small businesses, business ecosystem, policy environment, and market intelligence. We, of course, we have online and free tools and programs that are accessible to all developing countries, but we do also implement specific value chain initiatives in the different countries. That today I'm gonna just focus on one, even though the Caribbean for us is a very special place where we have a lot of activities, and we have created an extensive network of institutions and partners across the region, thanks to our implementation of the different projects. We have, for example, also global programs. For example, we have a She Trades Hub. This is basically a program for women empowerment into trade. Last year we launched a program together with the CDB where we are supporting women-owned enterprises throughout the region. Today I'm gonna focus on one, let's say, approach where we use to implement our projects, what we call Alliances for Action, which is basically a partnership approach where we work in agribusiness. And it's basically simple in terms of different steps that we take, similar to the different colleagues that we present today in terms of course, we need to first understand on the market systems, because for us, working with the private sector and different support institutions is key, that they are convened in order to work together to transform and to step up the value chain and to make it more competitive. And then, as you know now, develop what we call before donations or ODA or grants is very rare nowadays. Now the focus is that private sector, they should be the one investing into the different value chains, into the different areas in order to make it real transformational. Otherwise, donation from governments, etc., is never enough. You really need everyone involved, and this includes small farmers, small MSMEs, big companies, big conglomerates, in order to de-risk the investment into the sector and really make this transformative change. And of course, nowadays you need to track everything and have many systems in order to share your impact, share your activities, in order that others can replicate other experiences that you also implement. So this is the approach that we have taken in a project that we have implemented in the region almost 10 years. This year was our last year of the implementation of a program that we implemented together with many partners in the region, including IICA, including CARDI, and including many national institutions, and of course, the private sector. And to do this, first, of course, we mapped the MSMEs, and unfortunately, we were not aware of the company that we saw before with Trinidad working in the ice cream. Today, I'm going to share a case study on ice cream in Jamaica. We would have loved to work with her and find synergies. So the first thing is to map the stakeholders that are key for the value chain development in terms of the extension services, investments in the sector, research and development, agriculture, etc., in order to really have different approaches and different institutions to work together, and to really plan implementation activities, technical assistance with all of us in the same line. So all these logos that you see here are the different institutions that some way or the other we work together to support institutions, MSMEs, big conglomerates, and everyone contributed. That's either cash, that's either with their time, that's either with infrastructure, etc., in order to leverage the investment that is required to make that transformational change. And basically, in the case, for example, that I'm going to share here in Jamaica, we work with the Coconut Industry Board and CARDI in order to do technical assistance, very tailored in terms of what are the different needs for the farmers in the country. As you know, and what we heard before, coconut products and, let's say, vegan and natural-based products are in a big demand. But right now, there is a big shortage of supply, so you really need to work. If you really want to support the vegan ice cream business or support the coconut coconut water or coconut ice cream, you really need to get the base, the supply. So together with the different companies, institutions, we work to train the farmers in order to adopt climate smart approaches to increase their productivity and their production, but also that they can integrate also other crops, so they can also have a multi-market, multi-product approach where the farmers can also benefit. And on top of, let's say, improving their productivity of producing coconuts, they can also add other products into their basket and then diversify their income. But also at the production level, again, all these elements of certifications, quality, branding, marketing, you really need to adapt to the new world. So, for example, with the Scientific Research Council, with CrossQ, with Caribbean Export, with many institutions, we also developed capacity building activities for companies to improve their standards, improve their branding, in order to really respond to the needs and to the needs of the market right now. And then, of course, I'm just skipping over the invest component. So if you are a small enterprise and you really have a good idea, but you need money. So some of the key challenges that we see in the region right now is that they're always saying that there is enough money for MSMEs and small businesses to grow, but they don't really find good business profiles. So it's important to be able to sell your project very well in order to scale up your businesses. Also, sometimes also in our region, we are afraid of taking loans. We are afraid of owning money to someone, but there is really no way in order to scale up your businesses if you don't take the risk and you don't really bring the investment required to scale up your businesses. So we also work with development banks. We also work with the companies itself in order to engage with investors and then help the companies to prepare a good business profile, a good business proposition, and then do this matchmaking in order for them to scale up their businesses. This is just some examples of some marketing materials that we help the companies to produce in order to pitch their business and their model for interesting stakeholders. So today I'm going to talk about the case of Jamaica of Baby Loves. This is also vegan ice cream with the base of coconuts that we have supported with the project. And then the support was targeted on the whole value chain. The same, Larry here in the photo, he has coconut, of course, is his base, but he also has almost 100 flavors. So we were able to support Larry and the company in terms of understanding what are the market dynamics in the Caribbean and Jamaica. He has already, let's say, the market there, but also what are the other Caribbean countries doing? Also to participate in international trade fairs, like in the US and in Europe, but also have some South-South collaboration in terms of going to Malaysia to an event, Cocotec, where he learned what the Asian producers are the best in coconuts. So in order to learn what the big players in the market are doing, to innovate, and then to integrate some sustainability components in terms of using the whole coconut, the whole nut, in order to diversify this production and to reduce the waste in his factory. So another example that I want to share also in Jamaica is the linking of, okay, you have an issue with coconuts, but then we're working with this NGO called Alligator Head Foundation in Jamaica, where they're working with, let's say, to conserve the mangroves, but they have been affected by the farmers in the area. So this NGO was facing a big challenge that they want to work at the sea level, but they have issues first with the diversification of the fishermen that didn't have enough supply, didn't have enough sources of financing, but then also the farmers in the area that were affecting the mangroves and the fishing communities. So we got together, and all the institutions in the country, RADA, Cocoa Board, Alligator Head Foundation, found new ways of income for the fishermen to also produce into the agriculture, but then also integrate climate smart practices that doesn't harm the environment. And at the same time with the SRC, developing value-added products that to really gain bigger value for their products. And this initiative actually won a SEEDS award. Now that this weekend we're going to be celebrating, next week we're going to celebrate the SEEDS conference in Antigua. This really got an award for the environmental category last year. So this is something that we're really proud. So just quick takeaways, knowing that my time is limited. So really for us, we know that we cannot do everything on ourselves. We really believe in partnerships. The private sectors, especially in the Caribbean, they're very innovative, very creative. So we really need to work with them and listen to them and understand their priorities and not impose what are the solutions that we think is relevant, but have them a big role in the sector, also in terms of the public sectors, as they are the ones that can make the big investment to support their constituencies in different countries. And then, of course, as we all know, but coordination, facilitation has a cost, but it's really worth it in terms of having meaningful impact in whatever initiative that you can take. So I'm going to stop here. I'm going to leave my contact details for anyone that wants to reach out to us. I'm happy to engage, and thank you again, IICA and COLEAD for the invitation. Thank you,
William. I want to thank you, William, for managing the time as well. I think this has been very informative. I'm appreciative of the Alliances for Action program, and it seems to provide such a customized approach to development, and we appreciate your focus on collaboration and partnerships, and we hope through this forum that we can continue building on that, and that some of the beneficiaries or the audience will take advantage of the programs that you all are pursuing. I'm hoping during the question and answer period that you may even be able to dive in a bit to share on what's taking place with the EU-funded food security program. I believe CARDI and ITC may play a critical role there, and maybe you'll be able to share a bit on what's taking place there. But again, let me invite the colleagues, please place your questions in the chat. We want to hear from you. I'm sure you all want to get a bit more and ask your questions specifically to William and to Sandiford, who came before. So please do that. And again, thank you, William, for the presentation. We want to move on quickly to our final presenter, but I don't know if Ingrid has been able to come on as yet. Ingrid, are you able to hear us? I know we had to bypass you in the interest of time. Ingrid, can you speak now? Okay, I think Ingrid is still having some difficulty, but we want to move on to our last presenter. I hope Ingrid can come on so she can close off. We know that we've been hearing about different tangible solutions and the work that IESC and ITC have been doing, phenomenal work. A key issue for entrepreneurs, though, is the issue of financing. That has always been the major hurdle. We need financing to go to the next level. Now we're going to hear from an initiative that is being piloted in the region, starting first in Trinidad and Tobago, looking at providing financing for agribusiness ventures. And this is by Republic Bank Limited. And we're going to hear more from Republic Bank, represented by Judith Punch-Wafe. And Judith is a consultant with Republic Bank Limited out of Trinidad and Tobago. Her work is centered within the bank's Center for Business Innovation, a crucial hub dedicated to enhancing financial solutions for small and medium-sized enterprises. And of course, micro players are included here. Judith's consultancy efforts primarily involve crafting and implementing innovative products tailored to the diverse needs of the SME spectrum. And after dedicating over 4 decades to the bank, Judith recently retired from a role as manager of the Center for Business Innovation. And throughout her banking career, she has navigated various roles, units, and initiatives, all of which have enriched her understanding and passion for bolstering financial services across diverse landscapes. And with a background in accounting, she brings a wealth of knowledge and a steadfast commitment to advancing initiatives aimed at fostering financial empowerment. So, Judith, we want to welcome you to this forum and to the platform. And I'm confident that our micro, small, and medium-sized entrepreneurs will be excited to see and hear how Republic Bank's financing can allow them to better expand and take advantage of opportunities in local and regional markets. Judith, please proceed.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you for that very warm welcome. And hello from sunny Trinidad and Tobago, as you can see from the background. I am waiting for the presentation to be shared. Yes. There we have it. Thank you so much. We can begin. Next slide. Just a brief intro. We just do about 4 slides of introduction. We'll speak a bit about the target market of the product, a couple of the features, and the structure of the loan facility that we are offering in Trinidad and Tobago at this time, and which we hope to spread throughout the region as we develop it. Where did this whole thing begin? Republic Bank, all through the presentations this morning, which I must say have been very enjoyable. We've been hearing about 25 and 25, reducing the food import bill for the Caribbean, which we know is about 5 billion US, at least that's according to the statistics maybe 3 years ago, and really trying to reduce that by 25%. But the big question is, how do we do it? And how do we as a financial institution really bring all of this to life? How do we really, as we say in Trinidad, put the money where your mouth is? So this whole initiative that we're going to quickly explain is about a $7.4 million loan facility for small farmers, emphasis on small, emphasis on micro, in Trinidad and Tobago. And like we said, if the product works well, so we can take this as a prototype, a test. Once everything works well, we will be able to move on to the other islands where we have the opportunity to operate. Next slide, thanks. Let's talk about the target market. The target market are the SMEs, the micro. Why? Because we feel that this is an area that has been underserved. And if I can just quickly say, the office from which I speak is called the Center for Business Innovation. The Center for Business Innovation had its genesis in Republic Bank's signing on to what we call the Principles for Responsible Banking, which really emanates from the 17 Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. So that we have, for example, as our target, helping small business, which would fall under SDG 9.3, really advancing SMEs. There we have the product is not just for, when we say agri, people begin to think we're only talking about the farmers part of it. But if the farmers were to ramp up their production with our help, then what do they do with the produce? Are they just going to let it get spoiled? No, it would move into those who are already producing the jams, the jellies, those are doing the juices. So we're moving all along the chain. As we can see from the diagram there, we're talking about primary production. That would include the seeds, the chemicals, and so on. Then the people who have to harvest it, we know that must be done in a particular way. We're talking about storage and primary production, all the way into taking it into the market. So this is to say that the product is for agri SMEs along the entire value chain, the value added changes as well. Next slide. What are some of the features of this product? In developing the features, we try to address some of the issues and some of the challenges faced by SMEs in general and also agri SMEs. So we've done away with some of them. We have a way of mitigating the risk because we are a commercial bank and we have to be responsible in our lending. What have we removed? We've removed the need for collateral. We've done that because, of course, whenever we lend, when anybody lends, the aim should never be to call in the collateral. So we say, okay, we are going to remove the requirement because it's one of the kickbacks and prevents people from, especially the small, who we are trying to assist from getting in. We are using a specially reduced interest rate, which is about 50 basis points below our prime lending. The applicants do not have to be existing customers of Republic Bank. You may be from another bank, you may even be on bank, because again, going with the whole SDG and really helping to assist the underserved, we are saying if you don't have an account, that's okay. Still come to us, we will open your account. Businesses may be registered or unregistered. Again, what we are trying to address is some of the nuances of the agribusiness. In fact, small business throughout, and this research has shown this is one of the features. Unregistered, some may be registered. We say, okay, still come to us, we will help you. what we are asking for this product is that people or the people who are approaching us be in business for a minimum of 2 years. The research would show that the startups may be more susceptible to losses, loss of crops. If you're going into maybe developing juices, perhaps you're not too sure what you're doing, you may lose batches. But certainly if you're operating for 2 years, we believe that you already know how to mitigate a lot of the risks that you would be facing. We are not requiring you to have a farmer's badge, proof of land tenure. What we are saying though is that we would make visits because we've actually brought on board an agri specialist, someone who knows about agriculture. We already, through the banking sector, we are somewhat familiar with along the value chain, but we really needed help in agriculture. We've brought on a specialist to work with us who will help us visit the various farms and so on, and be able to, if somebody says this would be the yield, we'd be able to confirm that it looks reasonable. And also the other bugbear, what's the other bugbear? Getting financial statements. We are saying, okay, we are looking at other ways of confirming that your cash flows are really what you say it is, that you do have some sales. So we're looking more, bring us your receipts. Let's get other ways to prove your income or to prove your income and your ability to sell your products. Yeah, so those are the product features. Again, as I said in summary, it's really aimed to address the sticking points for most of our potential borrowers. Next slide. Yeah, we've structured the loans into 2 tiers, and it really speaks to the smaller farmers whose turnover sales would amount to, on average, 22,000 US per year, about 150. So you're talking about those who may be selling in the community, maybe to the local supermarkets. And then we've moved on. The other tier is for the bigger SMEs whose sales will go up to about, let's say, 60,000 US on average. And the difference between the two products, the two tiers, apart from the size of what you'll be able to borrow, is really the stage your business is at. If you want to come to us for 400,000, which would be about 60,000, and we don't know you have no security. Yes, you've been there for 2 years. Then we're asking, can you at least, we need to be validating at least 50% of your income, at least 50% of your sales, to know that you are really into this business and you really need to scale up. Compared to the tier 1, which would be, let's say we may just ask for about 40% or 25% of your invoice to be proven. The length of the loan also differs. For tier 1, those loans will go up to about 5 years. And tier 2, because of the amount, and we don't want to put too much pressure on your cash flow, we are prepared to go up to 7 years. The only time we'll take security, it would be, let's say if there's a particular piece of machinery or vehicle that you're purchasing, we would seek to take maybe a mortgage bill of sale, but we're not asking you to put out anything. But if it's a sizable item that we can take some sort of security on, we would, of course, and that's aimed at mitigating our loss. Next slide. There we are. Thank you. Short. And I hope that you have understood where we're trying to go. You know, we say that the longest journey begins with a small step, and this is but a small step. We have ways to go, and we hope to meet everyone along the way. Thank you so much.
Judith, I want to express my gratitude for you managing the time, because it now allows us to facilitate Ingrid coming on. But for Republic Bank, congrats, hoorah. I think this has been a really exciting development, and clearly you all have done your homework to know what the needs of the sector entail. And I'm hearing some of the things you said in terms of especially reduced rate. You don't need to be a Republic Bank customer, that there's no need for collateral, and you can be unregistered, etc., etc. I can go on and on. Great stuff that you all are doing, and I'm hoping that businesses flock to you all, because this is a game changer. With the collaboration of entities like COLEAD, IESC, ITC, I'm really excited for what we can do for agriculture. And I believe you all have been saying that you all will rely on the agencies as well to give support to build the capacity of these entities who apply to your financing so that they can be more successful. So kudos to Republic Bank. And please, colleagues, put your questions in the chat so we can hear from Republic Bank a bit further as we go on. I want to quickly, in 5 minutes though, ask Ingrid if she can just share on her business in 5 minutes, because we are really out of time. But you're here, Ingrid. can you speak now and just share in 5 minutes? Just put up your slides and share with us.
Sure. Can you hear me? This is better. I'm seeing
That's Ingrid.
the mic.
But as I said,
Yes.
only 5 minutes. So proceed.
Yes, I get you. All righty. Thank you so very much for the opportunity. And just to quickly let you know then all about Super Blend products. We were established in 1997, quite a few years ago. And it came as a result of, you know, the legacy my granny would have, you know, built throughout the years. She was a great cook, and we thought that it would be a shame to not share with the public, you know, some of her great delicacies and so. And initially, we would have started with some dried blends, but then it became very apparent that some other recipes that she would have shared were very much being asked for, like the pepper sauces and the Moby syrups and things like that. We understand that, you know, it would have been something new, but we stepped on we took the opportunity, quite honestly, to do what we needed to do to get those products out. And we have since established, you know, from our basement over the years, the opportunity then to move into a facility that is better able to accommodate your output, you know, and the growth that would have taken place since then. And by nurturing the customers by way of meeting their demands, we felt like this is a great opportunity then to build out. So even now we are hoping that we can truly make an impression throughout the region by accessing markets throughout the Caribbean. We are looking also at building relationships internationally through IICA, who has been very instrumental in assisting us along this journey. Special thanks go out sincerely to you guys for doing a great job at helping us there. So our goal is to be able to access international markets as far as the European Union, Asia Pacific, and things like that, places like that. Our business model thrives on a specialized business model, like trying to tailor our production and distribution networks locally via the various vehicles that we
Ingrid, let me help you out a bit. Ingrid, let me help you out because you only have less than 2 minutes. Talk about your products and highlight some of the exciting things about the product so we can get a better appreciation in the interest of time.
All right. My apologies. All right, so here we have like a range of syrups. Moby is one of our flagships. Persons love our Moby. It comes with medicinal values, people say, and the flavors are really great as it relates to the spices and so that we would use in them. We have a sorrel syrup. We also have a ginger beer syrup. Outside of our syrup range, we are now launching our marinades. We have 4 marinades that we're hoping to launch next week. And they are fish, chicken, beef, and pork for basic commodities that we all use daily. What I can tell you is that our products carry no MSG and they're all natural. We try our very best to maintain high quality ingredients by collaborating with our local farmers to ensure good supply and, you know, excellent quality products or ingredients. Outside of our syrups, we have cooking sauces like the browning or soy and Worcester sauces, nice for flavoring up your meals, your soups, your gravies, etc. And our pepper sauces, both red, which is the pure pepper, just nicely flavored for you, and our mustard-based pepper sauce, which is pretty much the flagship for Barbadian pepper sauces. We want to share with you the fact too that we try to establish good manufacturing practices through our HACCP protocols, because this is one of the national standards that we have adopted and are working feverishly at ensuring we maintain good business practices, good standards, good GMPs, etc.
Ingrid, I'll have to ask you to pause at this point because we're really out of time. What I'd encourage you to put your information in the chat, and hopefully we'll have a minute or two just to take some questions if persons are able to for your particular business. So Ingrid, thank you again. Thank you to all the participants. We want to quickly go into the question and answer period. I apologize for the rush, but because of the time constraints. I want to go straight to some questions for Alexis Williams. And Alexis, as best as possible, I'll try to address multiple questions and hopefully you can respond. Alexis, can you tell us startup and operational costs generally for a small scale project with respect to your business? And are you growing other types of mushrooms? Can you just address those questions quickly?
Yeah, for a small scale setup, 2 greenhouses, 1 dark room, 1 grow room, we can do an initial, well, back then when I started, it was what, 3 grand up top. Yes, we do grow other mushroom other than just the oyster version. We grow lion's mane, and a few other medical strains.
Okay, and can you tell us, in terms of the operational costs, and how do you grow the mushrooms, in containers or caves?
Well, we grow our mushrooms in greenhouses, and the operational cost is like $6-7 per bag per unit.
Okay, fantastic. And how do you pack for export by air the mushrooms? And are there any challenges?
Well, for now, since we're dealing with just the local base and we're expanding to the commercial size, these are avenues we are looking into. But for now, we package in our environmentally friendly containers, like those that can be recycled, and our polyethylene Ziploc bag.
Fantastic. And what substrate do you use for growing the mushrooms? And are you able to source all of your substrate locally?
Yes, most of our substrates are sourced locally. They come from, like I said, it's mostly generally the hardwood bases we have in St. Lucia. Some of our materials come from the restaurants, like the coffee grounds, and some of it come from like the animal feed. So things like wheat, we get them all. Yes.
Thank you, Alexis. One final question. Do you offer training for non-St. Lucians and distance learning opportunities?
Yes, we do.
Thank you. So hopefully we can contact you and we can proceed with that. But Alexis, is the sector competitive and sustainable, you think? Quickly.
For now, apart from myself being the only grower, well, not anymore, and then the additional 25 to 40 younger, well, added farmers, the market is not that competitive, but it is one that is warranted of much growth, and it has a lot of potential. The market is pretty good.
Great. Thank you very much, Alexis. I want to move on quickly to Kimberly. Kimberly, again, persons are congratulating you on what you all are doing. And how do you inform the consumer about the vegan specificity of your product? And from where do you buy your packaging? Hi, Kimberly. Are you still on? I think you're muted. Kimberly? Okay, we may have to come back to Kimberly. Maybe I can go straight to Sandiford. Sandiford, I saw you responded to most of the questions in the chat, but could you tell us, is there a brief for honey and is there data on apiculture that you can share with the participants? Are you all able to arrange that for us?
So we have not, in terms of IESC, we have not produced a brief on honey, but we do have an analysis of the honey across the region that was included in the CPSO document, which is public and was shared with the Ministerial Task Force, which we can make available. So we can do that. That's not a problem.
Okay, great. And what about projects that come in at the conceptualization stage, the idea stage? Can they engage you for support?
Yeah, once it's within the value chains that we're working and the countries, we are happy to engage all. We're not picking winners. So we're only dealing with fruits and vegetables, and within the eight countries in the Eastern and Southern Caribbean, the virtual capacity building can be done anywhere. You know, we can have people join. So yes, we are open to exploring whatever the idea is once it fits into the value chains that we have identified to support.
Thank you for that, Sandiford. I want to quickly move on to William. William, I know a question came in. If you want to be part of the work of ITC, particularly with the Alliances for Action program, can persons contact you directly, or do they have to go through your regional partners such as CADI?
Of course, I mean, either way, we're happy to connect. We're very open and flexible. So either through me, I left my contact details there, and also, of course, with our partners in CARDI, depending on the project as well. Be happy to support.
Great, thank you very much, William. I know that a question was asked of Judith. Persons are interested in knowing, is the bank's reach also as far as Haiti? And can you just give us an idea of the overall geographical scope for Republic? I'm thinking persons are thinking how soon the pilot will expand to their countries. You're muted. Sorry, you're muted, Judith.
Thank you. Very quickly, we are in Antigua, Barbados, which is Virgin Island, Cayman Island, Dominica, Ghana, Guyana, St. Kitts, St. Nevis, St. Martin, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Suriname. Those are the ones I have on my list. So those are the areas we'll be looking to go into first. So if we're not there yet, we may acquire something there soon, who knows? But those are the islands where we operate out of. And it may take us, let's say, about 6 months to test what we have now, to make sure we have it right before we seek to take it out of Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Judith. And of course, to remind the participants and the audience that the sessions are recorded and you can see the various responses in the chat, contact information. It's there for your viewing pleasure. Again, let me see if Kimberly is back on. Are you back on, Kimberly? Okay, I think Kimberly isn't back on, but again, we will try to get the responses from her and share it with the audience. Isolina, are there any more questions relevant, you think, for us to discuss based on the chat? I don't see any additional questions. You're muted, Isolina. Sorry, you're muted. I don't know if anyone is here.
Does it work?
Yes, it's working now.
Sorry,
yes.
sorry. No, there was a cross-cutting some on sourcing of packaging, if it's really a problem, you know, for the speakers, selling online, I think you have managed, and all the transport as well, which has been mentioned by 1 or 2 speakers as really regionally as really a problem as well. But perhaps on sourcing, packaging.
Yes, a number of persons asked that. Can any of the presenters speak to the issue of packaging? Anything from the IESC, from ITC, or any of the presenters, entrepreneurs, they may share information on their packaging. Okay, that doesn't.
Take it next time.
Yes, we can probably focus on that in another session. But again, let me thank the presenters, both the entrepreneurs and the support agencies for their contribution here today. And of course, the audience for their questions and their interest. I'll pass over now to Isolina to wrap up the session. And again, it has been my pleasure to support this session and to moderate the second component. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, Alistair. Thank you for the moderation. I don't have very much to add, actually. We have reached time, just on time. So thank you very much to all. It was very interesting. And I can say that also on behalf of the participants when I look at the chat and the comments done. Of course, there is a lot, as usual, Alistair, a lot of business and offers and, follow-up amongst them, which is one of the interest as well. I think Arthur has posted the next session. That will be on innovations of Caribbean entrepreneurs in climate resilient technologies. The topic was mentioned today as well, how the entrepreneurs address that. It will be on 29th of August. So you will also, of course, by being in the database, receive the invitation. I thank you also, all the speakers. I thank, of course, the interpreters and the colleagues from IICA. Thank you very much to all of you and the colleagues from my side as well, Axel, Arthur, and the others that are in the region as well. So looking forward to see you next time, I would say. I think we don't need to summarize more all the points that have been raised today. Unless, Alistair, you have something to add.
No. This has been exciting. And I believe once we share the recording and persons are invited to contact COLEAD, contact IICA and the agencies here for further support. That's all I have to say. And a really wonderful session. Thank you.
And as usual, if any of you in the audience, because there are also many, of course, entrepreneurs themselves or partners want to present, please reach out to the email that we have been posting and we will be happy, to feature you as well. This is about IICA, COLEAD and others networks. Is not specific to one of us. So please reach out and we will be happy to welcome you as well. Keep well. Bye-bye. Thank you, Roxanne from IICA as well.
Bye-bye.
Bye, folks. Have a good day.
Okay, bye.